Hello, everyone. Welcome to So Much Talk, where we talk all about sewing. And this is Ruthie of Ruthie K's. And
Anna of RK Artisans.
and today we're going to talk about our line of ladies tuxedos, which is coming out. It's coming out soon, and we thought we'd just give an intro into what it is and why. And so look for more blips as we go along. Many years ago, I started looking at like 18, almost 20, I started looking at what would be ideal for women in pants for formal wear. And it all started out with my oldest son's wife to be's grandmother. And she did not want to wear a dress to the wedding, just did not want to. This was no. And she came back with, she ended up having to wear a dress, and she hated it because all of the women's pantsuits looked like they were for little old ladies. So it's like, oh, wow. So it got me thinking, and I thought on that for a long time. What could we do different? What could we make different? And then over time, I got talking to and listening to a lot of other women who didn't like to wear dresses. Then I inherited in 2010, 2011, a niece and a nephew. And my nibbling did not like to wear dresses. She did not like dresses. She hadn't worn a dress since she was 7 years old. And at this point, they were 16 and in high school. And so when we inherited them, they brought me 5 pictures of jackets that they liked. And at the time, they were getting suits from like Goodwill to wear to the prom and places like that. Well, of course, they didn't ever fit quite right. So for their senior prom, we made them their own jacket. And they just loved it. So it
It
got
was
me
a
starting.
tailcoat, wasn't it? Or was it just a
No,
standard?
they drew a tailcoat, but this was just a standard jacket, except we did it in a black and white wool print. If I still actually have it, because I did still have it at one time, we'll bring it in and show you that original for this series of talks about women's tuxedos and how we got there. And they wore that to prom. So that got me thinking about a formal suit made for women. But we hadn't got quite to tuxedo yet. Then, over the years since 2010, 2011, when that happened, I kept listening to people talking. And in the last 5 years, it really consolidated down to women needing an ultimate power suit. Because many of the women I'm now talking to, they go to fundraisers that are formal. They go to business functions that have formal attire, and they have to represent themselves and their companies. Oftentimes, they're companies that they own. And with us women, a lot of times we have a struggle with carrying our power of office, we'll call it, into a setting where we're not used to carrying that power. Some of these women have been CEOs of a company. Some of them have been financial officers. Some of them have been a manager of a bank, or
Military officers.
military officers who have noticed that if they wear a formal ball gown, they're treated like the eye candy. All these women are in positions of authority, but when they're in settings in um, formal female attire, they're not treated with the same authority as when they're not. So, how can we fix that? Especially in a situation, let me take this off, it keeps flashing. Especially in a situation where they are the one that has the authority, but they're not getting that. So, out of that, I got thinking about what is the most formal thing you can wear. For women, it's a major ball gown, major ball gown. It's either super sexy, super elegant, something in those lines. And all of these pretty much scream, hello, I'm beautiful. And we are.
Mm-hmm.
That's part of the purpose of a ball gown, right? But at the same time, they don't say, hello, I am a beautiful woman of authority. And many women can't just carry that authority within themselves. So they don't bring it to this occasion. So then I started thinking, okay, in menswear, what is the ultimate power suit? Well, the ultimate power suit is a tuxedo. Well, women wear pantsuits. So why can't women wear a tuxedo? Then over these years at the same time, I have altered many, many tuxedos to fit women because it is it is the power suit. It's something that says, hi, I'm an important person. Whether you're the chauffeur wearing that tuxedo or a waiter wearing that tuxedo or the CEO of the company at a formal event. So in altering them, what I found and figured out was that a men's tuxedo does not fit most women. So you buy a man's tuxedo and then you have to have it altered and spend a lot of money getting this tuxedo altered.
Mm-hmm.
So why not just cut out that part and let's just make a women's tuxedo for formal wear? So that's the cutting it down to the bare basics. But our real goal in the women's tuxedo is to give women a power suit. And we're starting our line online, and it's semi-bespoke in that you send your measurements and we use a standard pattern and make it fit your measurements. And then we'll be sending it back to you and then you can get it altered. If you're local to me, I would alter it for you. Otherwise, you'd need to find somebody to do those fine alterations. That may be that maybe you want your sleeve a little shorter or your pantlets a little shorter probably. But all of that, has to be fine tuned when you actually have a body versus measurements. And the more accurate the measurements, then the easier that's going to be, of course. So that's what we're looking at with a women's tuxedo. We have two almost totally built, and the third one we're really close. It still needs the lining cut out. One of my things is to have fun linings in them. Now, if you want just a plain red lining or whatever, you could, of course, have that. But like my own personal tuxedo is going to have frogs in the lining because I like frogs. My frogs.
Those are very handsome frogs.
I think so. Very handsome frogs.
Now that's going in the black one or the navy one?
The black. Mine is
Nice.
going to be black. And we're partly there. Partly
Looking beautiful.
there. And it's just laying into the lining there. And it will have the black satin stripe down the pant leg, black satin lapels, and the pockets will be black satin, the flaps for the pockets or the welts. Oh, and our women's tuxedos will have a square pocket.
Because that is something that's missing on 90% of women's suiting is
Yes,
that they don't do
most
breast
women's
pockets.
jackets do not have breast pockets. And in working with pocket squares for another customer, a number of years ago, 5-6 years ago, I went, this isn't fair. Women could use pocket squares. Imagine having a pair of shoes to match your pocket square. Pretty awesome. So on a women's jacket without the breast pocket, we would have to use a pin or something to pin our pocket square on, which can look pretty cool too, but just having the pocket square is super awesome.
You need a froggy pocket square to match your lining.
I do, and I will have a froggy pocket square, I promise. Also, you'll be able to pull the lining out, which will be froggies. And if I did it right, I can use it as a pocket square. I just don't want my frogs upside down. So, and that's something they do with men's suits now is they use a lining that they can pull out of that pocket. So it's like an instant pocket square. So anyway, women's tuxedos, the ultimate formal suit for women. Last advantage to it before we stop this intro is, guess what? If you have a tuxedo, you don't have to buy a ball gown every single time you go to a formal event.
Mm-hmm.
So there we are. Ladies Tuxedos by Ruthie K's Signature. Look for that. Look on our website, ruthieKsInc.com, and you will see stuff on there also as we start coming out.